When I think about the Denver Broncos right now, one thing keeps standing out: the tight end room feels thin, and it's a problem that can't be ignored. Without a proven difference maker at that position, the offense is missing a vital weapon that could push this team over the top. That's why today, we're diving into two potential additions the Broncos could target before the trade deadline. These aren't just random names. These are talented players who have been linked to Denver and, more importantly, are frustrated with their current situations. Both of them could use a fresh start, and the Broncos might just be the team to give it to them. So let's set the stage. The NFL trade deadline is November 5, 2025, Week 9 of the season. That might sound far away, but in reality, it's right around the corner. 6 weeks. That's all the time teams have to decide whether they're loading up for a playoff run or selling pieces for draft picks. And here's the truth: I still believe the Broncos are a playoff-caliber team. Sure, they've made mistakes, shot themselves in the foot at times, and haven't played as sharp as they should. But this roster has too much talent, on both sides of the ball, for us to think otherwise. Now, you might be asking, where exactly are the weak spots? The first issue is middle linebacker. But today, we're not focusing on that. Today, it's all about the tight end position, and the moves Denver could make to finally turn it into a strength. When you break down the Denver Broncos roster, two areas stand out as real concerns: tight end and wide receiver. Now, some might argue, we've got Evan Engram, that's not a weakness. But here's the reality: Engram has been dealing with nagging injuries. First it was the back, now it's the calf, and the uncertainty around his health makes it impossible to rely on him week to week. As for wide receiver, while the group is mostly healthy, the production just hasn't matched the talent. The separation, the consistency, the game-changing plays, those flashes haven't shown up nearly enough. That's why today we're focusing on two trade candidates who could instantly change the picture. One at tight end. One at wide receiver. If the Broncos are serious about a Super Bowl push, these are the kinds of bold moves that can set the tone for the entire locker room. Let's start with tight end. Outside of Evan Engram, the depth chart looks shaky. Lucas Krull has had moments, and Adam Troutman brings solid blocking, but when it comes to being that reliable chain mover, running the seams, stretching the field, becoming a quarterback safety valve, none of them have proven they can consistently deliver. Engram can be that guy, but so far in 2025, it just hasn't materialized. And that's why a move makes sense. The first name that jumps out is David Njoku of the Cleveland Browns. Njoku is one of the most underrated tight ends in the entire NFL. His size, athleticism, and ability to make contested catches across the middle could transform this Broncos offense overnight. So why does David Njoku make so much sense for Denver? Let's break it down. This season, Njoku has taken on a reduced role in Cleveland. That's largely because of rookie Harold Fannin Jr., a third-round pick out of Bowling Green. Fannin has quickly built chemistry with Joe Flacco and has already started to carve out a featured role in the Browns' offense. Now, let's talk about Njoku's career. A first-round pick in 2017, he has more than proven his worth in the NFL. Across his career, he's hauled in 363 receptions, and his 2023 season was his best yet, racking up 882 receiving yards and establishing himself as one of the league's most productive tight ends. But here's the twist: Njoku is entering the final year of his contract. With Cleveland investing in Fannin and already showing trust in the rookie, 9 targets in Week 1, 7 catches for 63 yards, the writing is on the wall. Njoku's role with the Browns is uncertain, and his future in Cleveland is up in the air. That's exactly why this is the kind of move Denver should pounce on. Njoku brings everything you want in a tight end: size, athleticism, strong hands, and the ability to dominate in the red zone. He's a nightmare matchup for linebackers and safeties alike. Even more important, he would complement Evan Engram perfectly. Stylistically, they're different players, but together, they'd be a 1-2 punch that could finally give the Broncos offense the balance and versatility it's been missing. Now, here's where the fit gets really exciting. Evan Engram and David Njoku may both be dynamic tight ends, but they bring very different styles to the field. Engram is the smooth route runner, the guy you can line up in the slot, stretch defenses vertically, and create mismatches in space. Njoku, on the other hand, thrives in the play-action game and in the red zone. He's stronger, more physical, and can outmuscle linebackers across the middle. Together, they'd give Denver a complete tight end duo, speed and finesse paired with power and physicality. So here's the trade proposal. Denver sends Cleveland the 4th-round pick they recently acquired in the Devin Vele deal. In return, the Broncos land David Njoku. That still leaves Denver with another 4th-rounder, while also adding one of the league's most underrated weapons. Now, I know some fans might push back. Why give up a pick? Why pay Njoku? But here's the truth, if Engram's injuries linger and the tight end production stays limited, Denver needs an answer. And Njoku could be that answer. If Browns owner Jimmy Haslam picked up the phone tomorrow, called Broncos GM George Payton, and said, "We're ready to move Njoku. What's your offer?" and Denver put a 4th-round pick on the table, I'd take that deal in a heartbeat. But Njoku isn't the only name on the radar. There's one more player who could take this offense to an entirely new level. And unlike Njoku, he doesn't play tight end, he's a wide receiver. And let me tell you, this name is even bigger. Now let's shift to the next name on this list, a name so big it could completely reshape the Denver Broncos offense. We're talking about Tyreek Hill. The last time his name was floated around Denver, it felt unrealistic. He had just landed in Miami, was dominating defenses, and the Dolphins looked like they'd never let him go. Back then, it was a dream more than a possibility. But now? The situation has changed. Dramatically. Reports are surfacing that Tyreek Hill's time in Miami could be nearing its end. In fact, even ESPN has suggested that Hill is completely done with the Dolphins organization. And if that's true, the Denver Broncos might just be in the perfect position to strike. Think about it, adding the most explosive wide receiver in football to an offense that already has Russell Wilson at quarterback, Javonte Williams in the backfield, and a mix of young receivers waiting to break out. Tyreek Hill would instantly elevate this team from being dangerous to downright terrifying. Now let's dig deeper into why Tyreek Hill to the Broncos actually makes sense. According to ESPN, Hill's frustration with Miami has been simmering since the end of the 2024 season. He was openly dissatisfied, and even though the Dolphins kept him on the roster, his relationship with quarterback Tua Tagovailoa and the organization has clearly fractured. Reports out of training camp confirmed it, the connection needed repair, but it never happened. Here's the situation. Hill is 31 years old. His contract contains no guaranteed money beyond 2026, and his base salary next season is only $10 million. That's not a number that would scare off many teams. Combine that with his unsettled future in Miami, and it makes him a prime trade candidate. And unlike when Miami first acquired him, the price this time around wouldn't come close to what the Dolphins originally paid. And let's be real, his current season has been rocky. The chemistry with Tua looks broken, the frustration is obvious, and it feels like both sides are ready to move on. For Denver, yes, this would be more of a short-term solution than a long-term one. Nobody's saying you lock Hill down with a 4-year deal. But a contract similar to Evan Engram's, 2 years, around $10 million annually, could give the Broncos a veteran superstar who still has plenty of juice left. And make no mistake, Hill still has it. Just look back at 2023. Nearly 1,800 receiving yards and 13 touchdowns. That's not just production, that's game-breaking dominance. In 2024, Tyreek Hill's numbers dipped, but context matters. Tua Tagovailoa missed 5 games with concussion issues, and the chemistry between quarterback and receiver never truly recovered. Fast forward to this year, and the disconnect is even more obvious. So why would Hill make so much sense in Denver? It's about style. Right now, the Broncos' offense isn't stretching defenses vertically the way it should. Yes, Tyreek Hill is known as the league's premier deep threat, but that's only part of the story. He's also one of the most dangerous YAC monsters in the NFL. Give him the ball in space, on a quick slant, a bubble screen, a short cross, and his speed does the rest. He still has that gear nobody else can match. Imagine the fit. While Marvin Mims continues developing as the vertical burner and Troy Franklin grows into his role, Hill becomes the instant weapon in the short and intermediate passing game. He'd give Russell Wilson a reliable, explosive option every time the ball leaves his hand. Picture it, Hill commanding defenses underneath, Mims stretching the field, and Franklin sliding in as the hybrid depth piece. Suddenly, Denver's wide receiver room isn't just solid, it's dangerous. And the cost? Not nearly as steep as you'd think. With Hill's contract situation, Miami may simply want to clear the books. Denver could offer the 4th-round pick they landed from the Saints, package in a 5th-rounder, add a bit of cash relief, and get it done. 2 day 3 picks for one of the most electrifying players the league has ever seen. According to CBS Sports, this isn't just speculation, it's a realistic path forward. And here's the kicker, this isn't just about fit on the field. Sean Payton has always admired Tyreek Hill's football IQ. Add that to the fact that rookie quarterback Bo Nix could use another proven playmaker, and suddenly this move feels almost poetic. Courtland Sutton is locked in as the number 1 receiver, Evan Engram is battling injuries, and Marvin Mims is still finding his footing. Hill could be the missing spark that ties it all together. And don't forget the storyline, Hill returning to the AFC West, stepping back into the ring against his old team, the Kansas City Chiefs. Imagine the fireworks in those matchups. That's not just football, that's theater. When you put it all together, Tyreek Hill to Denver makes more sense now than it ever has. From a talent perspective, from a scheme perspective, and from the pure drama of the AFC West, it just fits. So here's the bottom line, the Broncos have 2 opportunities in front of them. Add David Njoku to strengthen the tight end position. Add Tyreek Hill to completely transform the wide receiver room. Either move alone changes the dynamic of this team. Both moves? That's the kind of aggressive push that signals one thing loud and clear, Denver is ready to fight for a Super Bowl.